Revelation chapter 6 verse 2 might prophesied about coronavirus. It could be somewhat early to say that it's true. Maybe before the end of 2023, we may know whether the word was really about the coronavirus or not. In this video, we'll go through the Revelation chapter 6 and compare the prophecy and the things that are happening now. Then you may understand why I say coronavirus was written in the Bible. First, let's see what's written in the Revelation chapter 6 verse 2. As you know, the New Testaments were written in Greek language. It was translated in Latin in the late 4th century, and this is the Vulgate Bible. KJV was of the early 17th century, translated in English by the King James. Including the King James Version, most of the English Bible translated the word as a crown. Scarcely it was translated as a garland in case of the Message Bible. This is how it was written in Greek, sounds Stephanos. Stephanos is the root of the names, Steve, Stephen, and Stephanie. Stephanos means laurel, garland with or without flowers, and the thorn crown that Roman soldiers put on the head of Jesus. All those are Stephanos. And it looks like this when putting it on a head. Corona is Roman expression of Stephanos. Because all Stephanos were translated as Corona, Revelation is not the only book where Stephanos appears. Crown is English expression of Corona. General feature of crown would be like this. Surrounded by thorns. When scientists found the coronavirus for the first time, they might see these shapes through the microscope. They look like crowns. Corona and Stephanos were same words, but their images are a little bit different each other. In the chapter 5, a scroll appears, so called as Biblion. Some things were written within and on the back. Not to leak what's written, it was sealed with 7 seals. Someone who was seated on the throne was holding it in his right hand. In the chapter 6, he is opening the seals one by one. In verse 2, a white horse appeared, and its rider had a bow, and a crown was given, but not coronated nor bestowed. It was just given to him. He was conquering and moved again to conquer more. Instead of a sword, he had a bow. Instead of arrows, a crown was given. What if it means that the white horse rider is shooting or spreading corona to conquer the world? When the second seal was opened, a red horse appeared. Its rider had a permission to let him get rid of peace from the earth, and make people kill each other. At the end of the verse, he received a great sword. Makara megalar. Rather than a long sword, makara is a kind of dagger, a short sword. So, the word may mean a great short sword. Russian word for dagger is kinzhal. When the third seal was opened, a black horse appeared, and its rider, and then a scale followed. With 1 day wage, wheat you could buy will be a third of barley. The unit of measure is choinix here, and a choinix is similar to a quart. A quart of wheat flour would cost $10 about. 1 day wage is different in each country, so we can't make sure how much would be the price of wheat at the day. Anyway, it said that the wheat price would be 3 times of barley price. And then it said that the olive oil and wine shall not be hurt. I wondered whether this mean Western Europe where it produces olives and grapes. Covid-19. Literally corona conquered the world from the winter 2019. In the spring 2022, Russia engaged the war against Ukraine, and the world fell into the fear of the world war. Ukraine had been ranked at 7th or 8th in terms of wheat production and ranked at 5th in its export. Russia was at 3rd in the production and the top in export. The rest of the top 5 are China, India, and the United States. Well, not much friendly mood anymore. Now I'd like to introduce a website showing international grain prices. By exporting country, you can learn the prices of barley, beans, corns, and wheat. It was said that wheat prices are soaring again and again, but it's not much expensive comparing with barley, yet. I mean yet. The rider of the red horse takes peace away from the earth, but as of today, the war field is still limited to Ukraine. Top-ranked wheat production countries are hostile each other, but they may not wage another war in the short run. Peace seems not yet removed. Then does this mean that the judgment day is far left? What if you die tonight? No one can say you can get up tomorrow morning as you did today, as per Luke chapter 12 verse 20. The day will come with the sound of trumpets. Before then, human beings have been on earth for 6,000 years. After the day, 1,000-year reign of Christ will be. Some may see the day alive, but much more people already have passed away 10 years ago, 100 years, or 1,000 years ago. It was told that the dead would rise at the day. It is the beginning of the eternal life. If I die tonight, I wake at the day when the dead will be raised up, skipping the time. If you think the day of Judgment Day would be far from today, that's misunderstanding. It could be just tomorrow for me or for you, and the day is the beginning of the new era. St. Martin Luther told, "Even if I knew that tomorrow the world would go to pieces, I would plant an apple tree, as I used to do." The day comes like a thief. No matter when the judgment day of the earth comes, or every single day is just like a day before the judgment day. It's right at the door. By the way, many people are misled as if Apostle John wrote the Revelation as a sequential record of what would happen. In fact, some stories repeat again and again. He repeatedly described them in different perspectives every time. If possible, in the next video, I'd like to explain how the same stories are appeared in the Revelation. But if the Lord seeks my soul before then, this would be the last one. Some scholars recommend that we must read the Revelation as an epistle, rather than a prophecy, because it was written to grow belief of the saints of all the ages. Apostle John didn't target specific generation who would experience the end of the world. However, I recommend you consider this book as an epistle and a prophecy at the same time. When confined in the Patmos island, Apostle John wrote the letter to encourage endurance of the saints of the 7 churches of Asia Minor. Starting from Ephesus, through to Laodicea, he gave compliments for those who deserved and warned for those who need awareness. Don't be frustrated for the troubles in front of the eyes. Be faithful unto death. That's what John told them about. But it's not just an epistle, and everybody knows that. The epistles were sorted in the order of volume. If Revelation was just one of epistles, it should have been after the Pauline epistles and at the beginning of the Johannine epistles. Its format was not different from the other epistles, but its contents were not limited to admonishment to the saints of the time. Reading it just as an epistle may mislead the readers. It's a prophecy, but a dangerous prophecy. In the last chapter, the Revelation disclosed this warning. You are not supposed to exaggerate it, nor understate it. So, you can't carelessly talk about what's written in the Revelation. We can't use any words in the Revelation to boast ourselves. Therefore, we'd hesitate to share what we think about this book, but it's, too, a problem. It told us not to understate, then we are treating it as if it's not in the Bible. Revelation is surely one of the 66 books of the Bible, one of the 27 New Testaments, and one of the epistles. This needs our attention and awareness. We ought to deliver what this tells us. The Bible is a proven prophecy. Jesus' coming was prophesied throughout all the 39 Old Testaments, and his birth and death and his resurrection had come true as written literally. He made the blind eyes open, the lame walk, lepers cleansed, and the deaf hear. Even the dead were raised by his word. This is his answer to the Baptist John's question. Not by theoretic words but by what he did. He proved he is the Messiah. He achieved the prophecy of Isaiah chapter 61 literally. But the scholars in the time didn't see the prophecy being achieved. Jesus Christ was achieving what's written in the book, but they ignored. They had learned the Bible from the birth, but their knowledge was not working. Useless. Their willingness not to believe him overwhelmed knowledge. This is why I tell you to remind that the Revelation is a book of prophecy. If you don't, then you'd do the same mistake that Pharisees did. Herod the Great gathered the high priests and scribes and questioned where the Messiah would be born. They answered, Bethlehem. The great sages, Hillel and Shammai, were there, too. In time of Jesus, all the Pharisees were either of Hillel's school or of Shammai's school. They knew that the Messiah was coming. They knew but decided not to know. As they decided not to believe, they couldn't believe in him. And the rest, those who don't know well about the Bible, are reluctant to listen to prophecy. They are worried if they would be deceived. So, pastors scarcely preach sermons about Revelation, worried if they are regarded as heresy. They have responsibility to wait the generation to prepare the judgment day, but the crowd is ready to blame such sincere Christians as imposters. It's heartbreaking reality. Now there is one way not to be deceived. See the news with the Bible. With your naked eyes, read the Bible. Then you would learn what will happen, why this world cannot be sustainable, and why God must judge the world, and what we are supposed to do to get ready. You can learn everything. Let's go back to the Revelation chapter 6. When the 4th seal was opened, a pale horse appeared. The color name was chloris, and it is translated as pale, pale green, ashen, etc. It may symbolize a dead body. The writer's name is Death. Very scary words are followed, like hell, sword, hunger, and beasts. By the way, when the Lord opens the fifth seal, somewhat different thing happened. Martyrs are pleading under the altar, and white robes are given to them. They wear the righteousness of the Lord and were told to get rest a little longer. He is saying, wait. When you find what's written in the Revelation, or in the book of Ezekiel, or in the book of Daniel, don't be hasty. Do not try to hide in monastery or in a cave or in a safety shelter. It doesn't end within some days. Then what shall we do? The answer is in the Bible. In the Matthew chapter 24, Jesus directly describes what would happen in the last days. They asked him what they had to do, and he answered to become faithful and wise servants. Be persons who takes over the Lord's household and give them food at proper times. Then you will be blessed. Have a little time today and read through the Matthew chapter 24, no matter how many times you've read the Bible. I recommend you meditate the Matthew chapter 24 today. You know that reading the Bible by yourself is totally different from watching YouTube or learning what others have found. I wish every one of you to be blessed as faithful and wise servants of the Lord, Jesus Christ. Thank you.